live.
Are we?
I think we are.
Let's see.
Open chat. I think we are. Although it says May. Let's see here.
Here it is.
Yep, streaming on. All three. Actually, it's not streaming on the talk. Oh, no, it is streaming. Yay! We're live.
We are live. Here we are.
Here we are.
I've shared it, and you've got a couple of minutes to join us. We officially start at 8:28. You've got some minutes to grab a friend, grab a drink, but don't grab your friends a drink. Wait, or...
You can grab your friends a drink.
Yeah.
Just don't steal your friend's drink.
Don't grab your friend's drink unless you're bringing it to them.
Right. All right. Is it working?
Yeah, it's working.
Don't steal your friend's drink.
Don't grab your friend's drink.
Perfect. Share.
I am so tired. Wake up, Katie.
I know. It's been...
So, yeah, you've got a couple of minutes. We haven't stayed up late for a basketball game, but we did watch baseball late last night.
We did. It's been some regional action in college baseball, and I'm just having a lot of fun with it.
It was fun. I haven't gotten the treat of the Tigers going deep in the playoffs.
No.
In our relationship.
Yeah, they haven't been to a super regional, I think, in 14 years.
Well, see, we've been together for 12, yeah. So there's that. We got to watch some college baseball, and, it'd be nice to be able to watch the Orioles, but, Masson.
We don't have it.
No. But let us know where you're joining us from tonight. We'd love to chat it up, and we'd like to know what the weather is where you are, specifically the humidity.
That's right. Yeah. How you doing? How you hanging in there? Are you sticky?
I could just look outside and start sweating.
Yes. That's what happens. Yeah, it is.
Such is life.
Well, since we joined you last week, you have two reverends doctors joining you for Talking Toast this week.
We're pretty much...
It changed.
Yeah.
The status changed.
Which is really funny. So, toward the end of the graduation ceremony, somebody said something about us being doctors of the church. And so, which is not a heavy load to bear.
Yeah, you were doctors of the church.
And so the rest of the evening, I proclaimed that I am a doctor of the church, so I could carry 3 drinks around that I was handing out to my friends.
That's right. You were practicing what we do at Talking Toast, right?
I was practicing Talking Toast.
Your friends a drink.
Yeah, there you go. So it's 8:28. Every week we have Talking Toast as a time to pull back the curtain on our creative process. These are conversations that we have anyway. We just thought we'd let you in on it. And not only let you in on it, but get your feedback as we are having these conversations.
That's right.
Talking Toast is something that can stand by itself. If you are joining us from Raleigh, for instance, like Deanna, or from Salem, Oregon, if you tune into Talking Toast, you're not going to miss out on a whole lot on Sunday.
That's right.
But it's also meant to start the conversation for our Sunday sermons.
And we want it to be a conversation. We want, if there's something that sticks out to you, that you enjoy in this, or something that comes to mind, we would love for you to chat with us and let us know. We've got one Haya, so that means your mom's on, and she says hello.
Yeah,
that's good. Let us know where you're viewing from tonight, and we check this later on throughout the week too. So
we do.
Yeah, please let us know where you're joining us.
But we start every week with the same question.
Yes.
And we hope that you'll tune in and type in however you prefer to type. And let us know, what is sustaining you? What is the thing that's helping you survive? What is the 808 beat in your rhythm? What is What is saving your life right now?
What is saving your life right now? Perfect. I wanted to make sure all the titles. Yeah. All right. Perfect. Because it still says May right here. That's what I didn't understand. See?
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah. What is? Yeah. Barbara Brown Taylor would say, "What's saving your life right now?" I'm gonna wake up to in a second. I think we had this moment today where all three of us were just like worn out. I haven't seen our child worn out.
Her eyes were rolling back in her head. We went to play basketball after school today, and we played for about an hour.
Yeah.
And the child must have taken 1,000 shots.
She did.
You know, that's the thing that Caitlin Clark says. She takes 1,000 shots a day, and I swear that child. Okay.
She got close to it.
She had to. I mean, it was like shot.
And she made her first. She's never shot on a basketball goal before. They've always been too tall.
Yeah.
So they lowered it to 8 feet for her today, and she made.
Shout out to my colleagues at the Y.
That's right. She made 10 shots.
She made
and I'm
them.
so proud
awesome.
of her. It was so much fun.
It was so fun.
Yeah.
She figured her shot out, and
She did.
it was great.
She did.
It was so much fun.
Yeah, and your mom said remembering time with you all last Thursday through Sunday. Yeah, maybe that's why we're so tired. Is because we had a lot of really good time with a lot of really good people and family, and it was wonderful. But I'm also like, whew. We came into church on Sunday, and I was thinking, like,
we should
I'm
have
gonna be
taken
worn
Sunday
out.
off.
And then we did Sunday, and then we did.
We didn't just do Sunday. We did a water balloon fight with the kids afterwards. On Sunday.
Yes.
And John and I have been looking, and we have like these
have
random bruises all over ourselves.
Those water balloons didn't bust. It just you can't even see it. Can't see it. Oh, there it is. Yeah.
Oh, the perils of ministry.
Yeah. Well, all of that, we were asking each other what's sustaining us, what's sustaining you, and I'd love to know what's sustaining you. What's getting you through?
I mean, I think graduation was just a thrill.
Thrilling.
It was so thrilling that I'm tired. No, it was really just so exciting, and you know, the ceremony was great. It was fine. But it was being with everybody that was the big thing for me. It was being with my colleagues, hearing what they were writing, getting to share stories and memories and final drinks all together in one group. That was something really special.
That's cool. I'm glad you had that.
Yeah.
As a group.
Yeah.
My group's kind of split off over the ages. We've got 3 different years graduating. Yeah, that was a great time.
It was really special. What's sustaining you?
Well, one is this sweet shirt that I got early for Father's Day. Hammer Barn.
Hammer Barn.
Season 2, episode 1 of Bluey.
The bottom, you can't see it on the bottom. If you see the flamingos, you've gone too far.
I love this shirt. This makes me so happy. And that's my favorite. I love that episode.
It's such a great episode.
I mean, the grannies are funny, but this one's like, ooh.
This one's life.
Yeah.
This one's so real life.
Good. Yeah. So yeah, shirt. And then this is going to sound weird, but at a funeral yesterday, I was introduced to a singer. For the funeral, I was introduced to a singer, Eva Cassidy. I had never heard her voice before. She passed away, I think, in 1996, and at 33 years old. And oh my gosh, like her Somewhere Over the Rainbow.
It's glorious.
Like takes you somewhere. In fact, I'm gonna put a whatchamacallit,
a link in the
chat so anybody can go listen to that if they'd like to. It is something else, and I've just been listening to her music. Well, it doesn't let me copy and paste. I'll figure it out later. So afterwards, I'll put a link in the chat. And it'll be yeah. So that I think that music and just making me think in a different way. And it's like discovering somebody and then realizing like what they do artistically. Like it's so meaningful to you.
Yeah.
And then anyway, and then on top of that, it was like she's born in Maryland. And lived in Maryland her whole life, died in Maryland, and then had her ashes spread near Callaway, Maryland.
Yeah, that's
which is
wild.
like we've traced some of my family origins too, and it's just this. I don't know. There was something going on there. Eva Cassidy, check her out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also think there's something to the way that art and someone else's creative project can take us to another place.
You're right.
And I think that's true of music. I think that's true of writing. I think that's part of what we've experienced over the last little while is that
You're right.
even with like the Rob Bell book,
Yes.
art takes us somewhere.
Even children's television programming.
Even children's television programming brought to you by none other than Reverend Fred McFeely Rogers.
That's right. That's right. And that's our yeah. So thank you for saying that about the artistry.
yeah.
I was just making a little transition
No, that's
connection.
it.
But yeah, this month at Christian Temple, we are talking about the life ministry and all the really
Quirks.
depth and quirks and all the things that Mr. Rogers brought to the table. Oh, okay, that Fred Rogers comment. I thought you were going with Bluey.
We could have very easily gone with Bluey.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes,
Yeah.
Bluey takes you someplace.
We'll have to do
my
a Bluey sermon
gosh.
series.
Bluey sermon series.
Yes.
It's coming.
Da, 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 dun, dun. Okay, but first we got to do Fred Rogers.
But we got to finish Fred Rogers. So if you're tuning in later, go find our Bluey sermon series.
Yep. So tonight we're talking our second part of the Fred Rogers series that we're working on. Last week was our first one. It was a beautiful Sunday. Our choir
so
sang
cool.
so beautifully, and it was just a neat feel in the room. In fact, you could say it was a really good feeling just to know you're alive.
Such a good
Yeah.
feeling to know you're alive.
Yep.
It's such a happy
Feeling you're learning inside, and when you wake up, ready to say. Anyway, so it was really great, and this Sunday is part 2 of that, and we're actually doing this on lectionary.
Yeah.
Which is very interesting because at first you thought, let's just do it completely off lectionary, but this
it works.
shows that you can do sermon series and you can do these kinds of things with lectionary.
common misconception.
Yeah.
Common misconception is that you either have to do lectionary or you can do sermon series. And I think not only can we do it with this, but I think it shows the breadth and depth of Fred Rogers'
Yeah.
ministry. I mean, I wouldn't want to do like I don't know. I'm not going to be able to think of a sermon series that wouldn't go well with the lectionary because that's my life. But, yeah, so sermon series and lectionary is not diametrically opposed.
So, yeah, our scripture this week is Mark 3 verses 20 through 35. And it's this very interesting passage. The famous line from this passage is, who are my mother and my brothers? Which is Jesus telling the folks who are bringing his mother and his brother to them. He says, who are my brothers and my mother? These are my mother and my brothers. Which is very, it's really funny. Like if you think about that.
Yeah.
But on top of that, it has a lot of depth. The story starts off with everybody thinking everybody is very hungry. They've all been packed in there and nobody's had anything to eat.
One could say they're hangry.
Hangry, yes. And they hear Jesus preaching and they think he's just delirious and hungry.
I mean, he might have
And
been.
they're like, go get his mom. And go get his brothers.
Somebody
Like,
go get this guy's mom.
Exactly.
That's what I'm gonna do the next time you get hangry.
Sounds good.
Somebody go get your mom.
Do I need to get Parmesan? Yeah. So yeah. So he they think, they say that he must have an unclean spirit. And it's funny because the religious authority at the time were also saying, like, well, the answer is that he is from the dark angel. He is from Satan, because that's the only way that he casts out demons. And basically Jesus says, like, why would Satan do that? Satan, you know what I mean? If this was Satan, if I was Satan, why would I cast out demons?
Jesus is a little bit of a smart aleck when he's
Yes.
like, what's the word? When he has nutrition in his system.
When he's lacking nutrition.
when he is fully taken care of, he's a little bit of a smart aleck. And then when he's hangry, it's like the smart aleck comes out to play.
Yeah, absolutely. So they go and get his mother and his brothers, and they're visiting, and they come in, and that's the famous line. And that's not to take anything away from his mother and his brothers.
Yeah.
But I think it's to say that there's something familial, there's something communal, there's something happening with this group of people that is around him, and really all people that are around you and us. Yeah, all people.
All of us.
It means all of us. Yeah. There's this bond that we can't explain that happens in community.
Yeah.
And yeah.
So, well, I don't know about you, but I heard this particular scripture in one iteration of my life, like 7 Katies ago. And the person who was teaching it, because she was a woman, she couldn't preach it. The person who was teaching this scripture was saying, yeah, you've got to hate your family in order to live. You've got to give up your family and like give them to God, and in order to live with Jesus. And I was like, how do you even conceptually do that? That's not what he's saying here. And what we talked about earlier a little bit was that this is like turning the economic system on its head too.
Yeah, speak more about that. 'cause
So,
I think,
so the family unit was the center of the economic force there. So the wife would care for the economics of the inside of the house, and the husband would, and the father, and you know the whole, because it wasn't a nuclear family, it was like the whole generations. The men would go out and work with their hands to get the money. The women would do all the farming, all the like gathering in, and all of the kind of near to the house stuff. And so what he's saying here is he's saying, no, like, we're all in charge of the economics here. Like, this household requires all of us. And so he's taking this kind of exclusionary household metaphor, and he's expanding it, and he's saying, like, no, nobody is excluded from this family. We're all necessary.
Yeah.
And the entire thing requires all of us.
It's funny because thinking about, I think it was the Cain and Abel text where the question is, "Am I my brother's keeper?" That kind of thing. And we need to be careful with like the language, the brother or sister, the dichotomy, those kinds of things.
Sibling.
Sibling. But it's the answer should have been yes,
You are.
yes, and all of us are.
Yeah.
Yeah, all of us are, and yeah, and I think that speaks so well to the ministry of Fred.
Yeah.
With I love you just the way you are, and like recognizing that that there's this common thread within all of us.
Yeah.
And happy Pride, right?
Yeah.
Like this is all I think it's beautiful that this sermon series kind of happened to be couched or not couched, but on that same kind of month where it's like we're going to recognize our differences and recognize our similarities in this. There's a common bond in community.
And how interesting is it? I mean, I find the Fred Rogers thing, I find Fred captivating because of his acceptance and because of his affirmation of me, of you, of everybody he encounters and those he doesn't. I find that really refreshing. And it's almost like the child inside of me, not that the child inside of me is carrying all this trauma, but it's like the child inside of me who learned as I grew and as I experienced to hide and to not be myself, whether I was 12 or 22. But it's almost like this healing moment for the inner child to hear Fred Rogers, who is a stalwart in my childhood, and I'm sure in many of your childhoods, to say, no, I love you just the way you are, to get back to that innocence of childhood and the imagination that could blossom when you knew you were safe. And when you knew you could show up as exactly whoever you were. And so there's something beautiful about that. I was reading a little bit about Mr. Rogers, and he was talking about one of his favorite teachers, who I assume was at the seminary, because the teacher's language was kind of couched theologically. But Fred basically said, look, the thing he taught me, and the thing that has stuck with me most, is that evil would do everything in its power to make us feel awful about the way we are. Evil will do everything within its power to make us feel awful about the way we are. Now, I want to be cautious, because the whole idea of evil acting consciously, I'm not big on that.
Yeah, even Jesus in this passage is just like, what?
Yeah,
It kind of turns the Satan thing upside down. The evil
right. Yeah.
thing.
So I'm not big on the whole evil acting consciously, like consciously trying to stir things up, to stir the pot or whatever. But I do think that says something about our world and about the thing that happens when we try to live in community with each other. And that is, it's really hard to look at our neighbor and assume that they are good. It's because we have received the message that there are parts of us that are undesirable as well.
Right.
And so if we have received that message that there are parts of us that are inherently broken, inherently misshapen, or inherently sinful, we're going to look at our neighbors in a similar way.
Yeah. The symbol of God functions, right?
Right. And so what a different world it is to start from the place of being accepted, not just accepted, but affirmed and loved for exactly who you are. Exactly who you are right now. There's this great story from, like turning the page a little bit, but there's this great story from Glennon Doyle, who wrote Untamed. And I know that's a book that many people in our congregation have read. But she's sitting there with her kids watching a television show, and a child comes out to its parents on the television show, and the parent says, I'll love you no matter what. And Glennon says that she just got angry inside, because no matter what assumes that you've done something wrong. And so and really what she comes to is that we as parents, or we as a family, whatever this kingdom, this family that we're building in and around and beyond the church, this family that we're building, we don't just love people no matter what they do. We love people. We accept them and love them and affirm them for exactly who they are. And think about what a different message that is from every other scenario, every other setting in the world.
and didn't. I mean, wasn't that one of Fred's main
Yeah.
themes
Yeah.
throughout? Just the way you are.
Just the way you are.
Yeah.
Right now.
Yep. Yep.
There's something beautiful about that. There's something affirming about that. There's something radical about that, because it's saying, like, you know how, I'm sure you've heard this, but there are lots of churches that say, like, come as you are, and kind of parenthetically in the background they're saying, and you won't remain that way. And not only are they saying that, but they're hoping that. Yeah, you're loved just the way you are, but parenthetically, we're gonna help you get better.
Yeah.
Which is not affirming of the human being and the God that is within them.
Right. Right. I put in the theme song today. So I always put lyrics. I put somewhere over the rainbow. The dreams that you dream of, dreams really do come true. And there's something about that where it's kind of thinking about, this is where it happens, somewhere over the rainbow. And I love that about this song. It's beautiful. At the same time, that has to be flipped. Those dreams, the things that we need in community, the things that we need to hear ourselves, that doesn't need to happen somewhere over the rainbow. That needs to happen here and now.
Yeah.
And I think you hear the common phrase today is "you are enough," and that phrase is common because we need to hear it. We needed to hear it then, whenever Fred Rogers was speaking. We needed to hear it before that. We need to hear it now.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Or you are Kenough if you're a fan of the Barbie movie. Not that I've seen it because I live under a rock.
Kin, like you are kin.
Oh, there's that.
I didn't realize
too.
you were saying Ken. Dun dun dun. Well,
and if you're watching this later, next week we are going to talk about the parable of the mustard seed.
Yes.
And we'll talk about that dreams start small, imagination starts small, and it grows.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Well, this has been a good Talking Toast. Thank you all for joining us. Thank you for being a part of this. Like I said, if you have anything that you want to respond with throughout the week, we would love to hear what you have to say about it.
I'd love to hear some stories. If you can think of stories of people who have been the ones to lead the way in accepting you for who you are, and that being a glorious enough. I want to hear stories of that this week.
Yeah.
I think that would be really interesting.
Where did you find acceptance?
Who was the first person who loved you exactly as you were?
And you knew it.
And didn't didn't pretend like they hoped you were something else.
Yeah.
I think those types of reflections are good, and they carry, it helps us carry together with us all the kind of great cloud that surrounds us all.
Absolutely. We've done some talking, and we need to do some toasting.
It's time. I do want to say Bill Harding is on here, which means that I bet Bobby Harding is listening, and
Yeah, we've been thinking about you.
We're thinking about y'all, and just praying and rooting for you, Bobby.
Yep, absolutely. Glad things went well today.
Yeah.
All right. So, will you start us off?
Go from here, friends, television neighbors, and remember that to be accepted for who you are is one of the greatest treasures of life.
And may you, if you haven't yet, find that chosen family. Find that group that accepts you exactly the way that you are. May that be life-giving for you.
Cheers. Cheers, y'all.
And if you have found it, enjoy it.
Tell us who it is.
Tell us. Yeah.
I just got a text message that I feel like I need to read while we're still on air.
Okay.
Catonsville women's lacrosse player just committed to Clemson.
I love it. I love it. That's great. Yeah. And I thought that was Jim Schlimmer, but that was Jim Keat that said the Fred Rogers comment about going to Bluey.
Jim Keat knows Bluey.
Absolutely. That's good stuff. That's good stuff.
All right.
All right. I'm going to take my shirt and
Off
go
to Hammer
home.
Barn. My dad said he found family. My dad was holding court with the D-Men students.
That was
this
fun.
week.
That was fun. All right, friends. We'll see you next